Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hanging Out for a Living. Today on Hanging Out, we are hanging out with Dr. Elizabeth Rosner, author, speaker, advocate, and chief love officer for NRG Online. Dr. Roz is on a mission that is both beautifully simple and incredibly bold, teaching 8 billion, yes, that's with a B, people to love 8 billion people one heart at a time. From helping schools, businesses, and communities build cultures of belonging through the principles of nonviolence to helping families pursue higher education without crushing student debt. Her work lives at the intersection of love, leadership, social change, and financial freedom. This conversation is more than business. It's about humanity, connection, purpose, and what becomes possible when people truly feel seen, heard, and valued. Welcome to Hanging Out for a Living, Dr. Roz. So good
Thank
to see
you,
you.
Teresa. It is so
Yay!
delightful to hang out with you. And so thank you so much for inviting me in.
Absolutely. So let's dive in. Your mission of teaching 8 billion, I have to really be focused on that because you know the other word I want to say.
Yeah.
8 billion people to love 8 billion people is both incredibly simple and really incredibly ambitious all at the same time. Where did that vision truly begin for you?
What a great question. Wow. You starting from the jump. So I don't know if you remember Shrinky Dinks. Did you ever do Shrinky Dinks, Teresa?
No.
A shrinky dink is like an 8.5 by 11 piece of plastic, and you could write on it with markers or draw on it or whatever. And then you put it in an oven and it shrinks it down. So it's like a large piece of paper and it shrinks it down to about the size of a credit card. So at 5 years old, I did this at summer camp, and it says, God is love, love is God, to mom and dad and Catherine from Elizabeth.
I
So
love
I knew
that.
at 5, love was a part of my story. I
Yeah.
also knew that love was not just for me, it was for those around me. And of course,
Sure.
at 5 years old, it was my mom and my dad and my sister. That's who was around me. And I knew that love was powerful.
Yes.
And then the world came in, and the world said, Elizabeth, you're supposed to spend your days drawing lines, figuring out which side of the line is right and which side of the line is wrong, and making sure you're always on the right side and you don't associate with those people on the wrong side, whatever that line is. So if it's religion, if it's political party, if it's pennies in the bank account, whatever
Mm.
it is, you need to make sure you're always on the right side. It was not until I encountered Kingi and Nonviolence in 2018 at the King Center here in Atlanta that
Mhm.
I understood the concept of interconnectedness,
Ah,
that I understood the concept of the world house, that each one of us is connected to each of us. And that's where really the birth of 8 billion people loving 8 billion people came from. So, starting from understanding the power of love, and it is both complicated and simple because people cannot wrap their heads around 8 million,
yeah.
much less 8 billion,
Right.
which is why, that other M word, why you want to say that. And it's so simple because all I'm asking you to do is love every single individual that you encounter. And I'm asking every individual to do that. And that's what makes it simple.
I love it. I love it. So you talk about leading with love as a practical application of what you just said of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s principles of nonviolence. What does that actually look like in everyday life, especially in today's world where people often feel divided or disconnected?
So again, the society, it hasn't changed a whole lot from when I was little. We're still telling people, oh, you belong and you don't, or
Yeah.
make sure that you're doing things so that you belong and you don't. And all I'm saying is let's eliminate all of that. How can we make it so that every single individual in the world belongs? So not just in your community or your state or even your nation, but what does that look like in the world? And part of what that looks like is if a lot of people now will say, oh, I don't talk about politics because they're so divisive. Politics at their root are policies. And while I rarely discuss politicians, I do discuss policies. So it is making sure that the policies that I am supporting are not just good for me, but bad for you. It's supporting policies that are good for everyone. And it's thinking about a mindset of never doing harm to somebody else.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's pivot for 1 second. And one of the things I found in reading up on you a little bit, it powerful is your belief that crushing student debt can be a form of systemic violence, right? Can you talk more about the perspective on how debt-free degree is helping families create more freedom and choice for future generations?
So, Teresa, I was taught from a very early age that you are going I my parents said to me, Elizabeth, you're going to go to college and we do not go into debt for education. And I thought everybody was taught that, especially the we don't go into debt part. And
Mm,
while I believe that every single one of us needs some type of training post high school, I do not believe that everybody needs a bachelor's degree or beyond. And I do believe that no one should go into debt for education. And so I've earned 3 degrees, including my PhD, and I only took $1,000 in loans. And that $1,000 came one summer quarter. That's how old I am. When the Pell Grant and other grants and scholarships I was using all year did not pay in the summer. So I go
oh,
into financial aid like 2 weeks before the quarter was supposed to start, and I said, I need $1,000. May you give me a list of scholarships to apply for? And she said, we don't have any scholarships, but just take this loan paper and then just sign it, and you can just figure out how to pay it off later. Well, it was 2 weeks. And I didn't have a way to earn $1,000 in 2 weeks at that point. And so I signed the paper. And so it's that quick. Multiply that out times all these kids, all these students that are drowning in student loan debt.
right.
One statistic, and both of them are 37%, so that's interesting to me. 37% of all students who owe student loan debt owe six figures.
Uh-huh.
And 37% of all students who begin a bachelor's degree do not finish.
That's staggering.
Yes, both of those are forms of violence. Particularly, I mean, just imagine how horrible it is that you're carrying student loan debt for a degree that you've not even earned.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine how that feels.
Right, right. Imagine if you had $100,000 to put into your lovely home. I mean, your home is beautiful behind you. Imagine if somebody gave you $100,000 and said, "Here's 100 grand for you to put into your home." But imagine if you're drowning in $100,000 in debt, and it's difficult to even find a place to live.
Right, right,
All of these are forms of violence. And when people say, "Oh, well, I paid off my loans, and so we shouldn't give them a handout," the when the government pays off these loans, it's because through payments and interest, they have paid back that loan many, many times. So it's what we're eliminating is the interest payment.
Yeah, I remember my daughter having a student loan and it felt like it was being paid forever.
Yes, yes,
Forever.
yes,
So totally
yeah,
understand where you're coming from on that one. It's
yeah,
absolutely crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy. So you've described yourself as a lifelong nonconformist and insatiable learner. I love that. For someone watching today who feels different, out of place maybe, or unsure how they fit into the world, what would you want them to hear?
I would want them to hear that yes, we are all interconnected, and you are a part of the 8 billion, and you are so unique that the universe, karma, God, whatever your higher power is,
Sure.
decided that we need someone exactly like you in exactly this date. You have so much innate worth. You have so much talent. You have so much joy to give. You have so much intellect. You have so much ability. And the world needs everything that you have right now. And when all 8 billion of us lean into our highest, best, most loving self, then when an astronaut orbits Earth, they're going to look down and the entire planet is going to be vibrating at purple.
I love it. That is beautiful. That is you bring in such a visual for that. I love that. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So, Dr. Ross, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us today
Beautiful.
and for sharing your heart, your mission, and your vision for what's possible when we truly lead with love. And yeah, And for those watching, if this conversation resonated with you, we'd love for you to continue the conversation with Dr. Roz. Her contact information is in the description below. And of course, if shameless plug, if you enjoyed this episode of Hanging Out for a Living, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future conversations designed to inspire connection, curiosity, and meaningful impact. So, folks, until next time, thanks for hanging out with us. Bye for now.
Bye bye.